I'm Barry Shaw, The View from Israel. Paul Kessler, the man whose photograph you just saw, was a 69-year-old Jew who was smashed over the head by a pro-Palestinian Jew hater with a megaphone and died of his injuries. Instead of calling it an anti-Semitic hate crime, the police called it homicide. In America, when they take to the streets chanting "Death to Jews," the White House calls for a national strategy to counter not anti-Semitism, but Islamophobia. In America, Jews are 2% of the population, but suffer from 60% of the hate crimes. Yet they want a national strategy not to arrest the rising hate against Jews, but against another minority that are increasingly the ones who carry out the hate crimes against Jews. What the hell is going on in America? I'll tell you the nasty truth of what's going on in America. It's a truth that dare not speak its name, because America, like Australia, like much of Europe, Jews are living in fear. Jews don't have Islamophobia. They don't have a hatred of Muslims. But Jews suffer from a different Islamophobia, which is a rising fear of Muslims. They are afraid of the rising power that these people hold, the chokehold they have on the decision makers, and the death threats that they hear when these people take to the streets and chant against Jews. This, President Biden, this, Kamala Harris, is the Islamophobia you should be addressing, but they won't, you see. Their votes are greater because of their numbers, and these people are noisier than the Jews. And they also, heaven forbid, are better organized than the Jews, and therefore more powerful than you Jews. So Jews will continue to be the victims of hate crimes perpetuated by the people who are now protected by the White House, voiceless victims like Paul Kessler. How many more Jews have to be killed before your government protects you instead of those who are coming to kill you? And why are you Jews so silent, so unorganized? Where is your collective voice? Or is your Jewish voice only heard in support of those who come and kill Jews, as we saw so disgracefully in your Congress recently? Paul Kessler should become the new Jewish George Floyd, the spark that lit the Never Again movement. If Jews don't act now, if Jews don't speak out powerfully, collectively, things are going to get much worse in America and elsewhere. Paul Kessler should be the symbol of a new movement, Jewish Lives Matter, copied on the playbook of Black Lives Matter. Are you telling me that Jews are less smart, less well organized than the women that created Black Lives Matter? Maybe it's because Jewish leaders are too cowed, too accommodating, less courageous, less outspoken than the leaders were of Black Lives Matter. Statistics show you are bigger victims than those of Black Lives Matter. Don't Jewish lives matter? So when Paul Kessler is killed and you do nothing, when will you begin to speak up or do something? Are you going to cower all the time? Are you going to stay at home? Are you going to let them own the street, the campus, and the Congress? Until they heed your voice, you become the helpless, the voiceless victims. So find leaders of courage, or become one of those leaders, to put together a local, a national, and a global movement of Jewish Lives Matter, led by the image of Paul Kessler. Who is going to take up the cause? Anyone? Or are you going to remain the meek and silent Jew whose fate is sealed in a long history of pogroms and holocausts? In Israel, we were silent. We were tolerant until October the 7th, when the Jew haters came to slaughter us. And that is when we found our collective voice and our collective spine and said, no, never again. This is how we came together and acted strongly, collectively, affirmatively, decisively, even now against rising criticism. Yes, they come and criticize us when we go after and kill the ones that hate us and killed us and slaughtered us. That's what they do to the Jews, even after they kill us. So now it's your turn to grow a collective spine. Don't wait for your October the 7th. Act now, locally, nationally. Take to your streets, to your city halls, to your Congress, to your campuses, and raise the banner, Jewish Lives Matter. This is Barry Shaw, the voice from Israel.
אנחנו מכריזים לזאת